All right, everyone. Welcome back to Movie Roulette Mondays here on this beautiful Monday, even though it's a Wednesday. We are recording it at the studio. But Nick and I are here once again by our lonesome, reviewing Last Night in Soho, which was a viewer-recommended film that we landed on last week on the Movie Roulette wheel. Edgar Wright, great director. He's one of the more stylistic directors that I think we got today. Baby Driver. He did the Shaun of the Dead movies too.
Yeah, great film.
Yeah, he's great. This was his most recent film. Critically got mostly good reviews. Some divisiveness, which we'll talk about going in. But I mean, essentially, it's about a young aspiring fashion designer named fashion student who gets accepted to go to school. Her name's Eloise from Jojo Rabbit. She was great in that.
That's where she's from, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
She gets accepted to a fashion school in London. She goes there. It's kind of established that her mom has passed away, I think, from. She gets there, has a bad experience in the dorms, some bullying, and then gets a apartment. They call it a bedsit there in London. Old woman gives her apartment, and then when she goes to sleep, she somehow gets transported back into London in the 60s and follows this aspiring actress, singer,
cabaret
performer, Sandy, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, and she kind of goes down this rabbit hole, living her life every night and discovering some pretty dark things involving Matt Smith, who we love from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
But
God, he looks like a shoe, doesn't he? I've said this
he
before.
Does.
He looks like a fucking
He does. You didn't
old catcher's mitt.
But I liked him in this role. I kind of wish he was in it more.
It's all in the forehead with him. It's just a lot of extra up there.
Yeah,
you know?
extra. There you go. But listen, I didn't know what to expect about this movie.
I had no idea this is what it was going into it.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing the trailers and stuff, and that it had some kind of horror elements. And listen, I was in on this movie for the first half. I was curious about what was going, and then it kind of lost me.
Where?
When the ghosts started showing up. And then the girl, the lady, spoilers obviously, the old woman, Anya Taylor from Game of Thrones, like the ending with like...
Is that who that is?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved her in Game of Thrones.
Great. Yeah. But like her, like... chasing her up the stairs and being this like mean grandma. It just kind of seemed like it seemed like a smart movie that ended up being dumb.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think I got a little bit more toward the ending.
Yeah, I would say like 2/3 of the movie I really enjoyed.
Yeah, like most of Act 3.
The third act was pretty bad. In my opinion.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, don't you think, like, to me, this concept is wicked cool and it's wicked interesting, that it could have been so much more of a cooler payoff?
I think overall, I do like this film. Okay?
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Yeah. It wasn't like I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I wasn't burning my eyes out watching it.
Yeah.
No.
Like, oh, fuck, it's for Movie Roulette. Like, we got to review it. I got to watch it. Like, it wasn't one of those. Like, it was good, you know? And it was fun, and it's like the 60s, the music, the storyline, the fact that it changes, and Anya Taylor-Joy is like, she thinks she's got this great job, and she doesn't have a great job, and it's following a story and everything else. So I initially liked the ghosts. Even as far as when she's about to stab the other student in the face, and that kid stops her and is like, whoa. And the reason is because the mother dealt with mental health issues.
Yes.
And I thought it was it was going to be a hereditary
thing.
Like
a schizophrenia or,
Right. Where it loses me, and maybe this is just me being over analytical here. Like I said, it's a good movie. If you want to go watch it, it could be a standalone good film. But where it loses me and my high standards of everything is the fact that I feel like it kind of deprives the viewer of that mental health aspect when she actually technically was seeing ghosts, I guess, or like,
which they don't go into why.
Yeah, like, is there like a weird portal thing?
And she sees her mom a few times too in the mirror, which they established in the beginning,
which I liked up until the end.
Yeah,
like in the beginning, I was like, oh, she's a schizo too, just like her fucking mother,
right?
You know, and like that it would have been great if the ending had been her in a padded room. Yeah, with the straitjacket on.
I do. That's another thing is I think the ending being a happy ending, I didn't like.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. Yeah,
and
technically though, being in the mental institution would be a happy ending, like she's getting help. If that makes sense.
But you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I agree.
Now she's gonna have a fashion.
I agree. I agree, 100%. Yeah. Now she's like perfect. She look at the fashion show at the end. Like fuck me.
It felt weird.
Princess Bride. You know what I mean? Like what is this? Yeah. Go ahead.
And then I will say the thing about I don't hate the ghosts in general. It's the fact that the whole third act was like just her running from ghosts.
Sure, fair.
It was very repetitive.
They're real. Right?
Right.
Like they weren't real and then they were real.
But they didn't tell you.
But that's what was weird. Like I kind of liked, like, dude, there's like, I feel like this movie has like so much potential. Like,
yeah, I 100%.
It was like draft 3 that they said, we'll shoot this, as opposed to like draft 5.
That's a great point.
You know what I mean?
It's like the third act, they were like, oh, like it's all right, but it could be better, and then they just went with it.
They're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to have a time crunch. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
That's a great point.
Now, this is really cool, though. There are some, from a cinematography standpoint, everything else, like that shot of Anya Taylor-Joy and the chick from Jojo Rabbit walking down the stairs in the mirror. I don't know if you've seen them. They were, when this first came out, I remembered it when I saw the shot. I went, oh, I know this. Yeah. And there's tons of behind the scenes of how they did those shots on like Instagram and everything else.
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Camera tracking and motion tracking, and not all like blue screen, more like doubled footage, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
Visually, this movie's fantastic with the lights and everything, the music, like you said, the aesthetic they nailed.
Well, so this is where one of these things works for me. I was not a fan of Elvis because I felt like it was a big CGI cum shot all over for 3 hours. But in this, it works because we knew she's dreaming. So I liked when the characters were coming up and talking to her, that they kind of echoed in to like their line.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then echoed out. And like, you know that like you feel like you're dreaming watching that initial, that first dream sequence, you know? The music's fantastic. It's just Miss, can I take your cloak? And then she is the girl, but then she's not the girl. I didn't get that.
That's what I'm saying is I feel like listen, we've talked about this before. Like, I don't need like a play-by-play of like how things work in a movie. But I think they need to establish certain rules for you to understand it. So
that's what I'm saying.
So for me,
that's a great way to put it. Fucking A. That's a good way to put it, man.
For me, it's like, okay, so she sees her mom. Does she see her mom because she sees ghosts, or does she see her mom because she's schizophrenic?
Right.
Or does she see ghosts? You know what I'm saying? Like, that stuff was inconsistent. Is she in the body of the girl, or is she a third-person viewer, which they flip back and forth?
Right, and then is it mental health? Like when she comes out, because she dyes her hair, she tries to look like the girl.
She can touch her.
Yeah, but then every time she does, she wakes up until she doesn't wake up. And that was really good too. The sleep deprivation. Like I was like, this is getting really good. And then they fucking lost me.
But see, you said that about her touching and then waking up. But then I thought that was a rule too. But then when she's looking in the mirror, when Anya Taylor-Joy is looking in the mirror, she grabs her shoulders and Anya Taylor-Joy turns around. And it's Matt Smith opens the door and starts yelling at her. So there, she didn't wake up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like at first, she goes to touch her and she wakes up immediately, and then there's like throughout, and then throughout it, like, but she's still not there,
right?
And then she's there, but she's not there. It's fucking weird, man.
So like to me, like the whole twist at the end with like her, like
So I feel like it's too.
I saw that coming. Did you see that coming? That the lady was her
when she had her sit. I didn't see it coming until she said the records thing. Like I pulled the records out immediately. Right when she said to pull the records out for whatever fucking reason. It just
because it was
started,
the girl in the records was the singer who was in the club when she first showed up.
So maybe it was like subconscious. Because I didn't notice that per se. But like when she said, "Oh, you made me take out my records too," or whatever, and I went, "She's fucked. There's fucking something wrong with this lady."
Yeah,
like there's something else. Something's weird. You know. That and then that scene lost me on multiple levels. So I feel like it's two separate movies that they tried to kind of mush to get like if you had an idea for a film about Dreamland and I had an idea for a film about schizophrenia, and then we were like, let's make our movie, and then I did Act 1 and 2 and you came in with Act 3 as an example. Like I like the concept of a spirit ghost story, old lady whodunit kind of movie. I also like the idea of a mental health schizophrenia mother killed herself kind of movie.
Because to me, one of those movies is an Edgar Wright movie, and one of the other ones is a Blumhouse B-movie horror. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying, though? Like,
sure, yes, the ending was
like
the B-movie.
Edgar Wright's is an auteur director of the age, and like, I would rather have him doing something. It felt too, not to say beneath him, but like that third act.
It was cheap. It was fucking cheap.
Yeah.
How about the fact that she gives her something to drink,
then nothing happens?
So this is where I was on a filmmaker level.
Yeah,
I was done. She gives her something to drink. She's literally passing out and going into some sort of paralysis.
Yep.
And then she's out of it. She can run upstairs. She can go over here. She can go over there. I mean, what the fuck is this?
Well, then how about she stabs the friend that shows up, and then 5 minutes later she's like, "Go save your friend."
Yeah,
What happened there? What shifted in 5 minutes of her chasing her up the stairs?
Yeah.
like the third act was just, to me, like, lost me completely. And I thought another dumb twist too was that the cop, the guy, Terrence Stamp, the old creepy guy,
that she thought was Matt Smith,
was just this random cop that you see in a 5-second scene earlier.
How did he get the drawing? Like, why does he know?
Why
people?
Is he a dick? Why is he being creepy if it's not Matt's?
Right.
Yeah,
so like, this shit they do. So I feel like this is super tropey, and it's like we see it a lot in bullshit indie films. Not all we make indie films. Not all indie films are bullshit. But in bullshit indie films, you see this guy, and like, or it could be a woman too, but they're an asshole, and you don't know it's not justified. Yeah. Why are you an asshole?
Well, it's sacrificing consistent story for the twist. That's what it was.
Sure.
Yeah, for preserving that shock value.
Did we need it?
No.
You know, I know, but at the same time, it's only because Act 3 sucks. Because if Act 3 was good and it was a mental health movie, then it's like she's seeing things that aren't there.
Yeah.
Because she's a fucking skits.
To me, I would have liked it much better if, like, that was Matt Smith. And that maybe,
interesting.
Maybe he was the villain at the end, and maybe the lady is her, but then Matt Smith, you know what I'm saying?
But maybe it wasn't as bad as she's seeing it,
right? Because
she's a fucking nutbag.
Yes,
like that would have been a dope movie. Yeah, you know. And then it still doesn't. It still has your sad ending or your unhappy ending, whatever you want to call it, where she's like she needs help and they get her help, but it's like sad for her because she needs fucking help.
Yeah,
whatever. And she's like in a fight with the room, and she's drawing dresses on the wall.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Drooling, you know, like with the dresses. It'd be great. I mean, that'd be great.
I was reading like Reddit threads about this movie, like after the fact. Yeah, just because I was curious. I was trying to figure out stuff.
Yeah, but Reddit's like fucking.
Yeah, but most of the people, one of them had a great comparison as the third act of this movie, and it was like, you know, you had this movie, and then the end was like the grandmother was like a Scooby-Doo episode. It was like, I would have got away with it for you two meddling kids. And then she just got the knife. You know what I'm?
That's a great way.
It felt like that. Yeah,
it did. Yeah, I didn't like. Yeah.
Just like the ending in general, and then like her.
Why did the lady have the tea like well, I guess she said let me put the kettle on or whatever, but like she comes in and she's like okay with it, and then I hate the fucking Bond villain. I hate this dude. This is what I loved about the last episode of The Last of Us that I fucking hate about these movies.
Yeah,
is in the because it happened in this movie. In the last episode of The Last of Us, he goes. Unhook her or whatever. She's on the table. And he goes, I'm not going to let you take her. Shoots him in the head, take the chick of the done. This one is like, drink this slow drink that will kill you slowly, and I'll explain everything that we don't know.
Well, it's like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah,
it's when they tell you the plan. Yeah.
Come on. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing?
That's a great point about them, like, writing the script and then third act, like, they didn't have fleshed out. It does feel like that.
It's just felt so deadline-y to me. Like, well, we got to do it. We got to do something.
Yeah.
You know, like, what a fucking, waste. Because I just feel like this movie has a ton of potential.
Yeah, like, what if it was about a girl who, like, whatever room she occupies, she inhabits the life of the person who lived there before? Like, something like that, like, shit like that, and you go deeper into that.
I'm cool with a ghost story.
I don't have like I said, I didn't have a problem with the ghosts. I just think the way they were used
because it was two different stories.
Yes,
you had Schizo and then Ghost Story.
Yeah,
and I don't think Scooby-Doo is necessarily even like a negative reference. It's just negative when it doesn't make sense for the whole movie.
100%. Yeah,
because the rule break. I love that like analogy
about having
of the rules.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Because I think that's important. It's like when we watch Game of Thrones, we know that
Harry
fucking
Potter.
dragons don't exist. We know that Valyrian steel is the only thing that cuts through a White Walker. If you establish that as a rule,
or
within the world,
dragon glass,
right? We know that you have to be force sensitive to use the Force.
Yeah,
you know
need
what I mean?
the midichlorian.
You just gotta establish it, and I feel like they didn't establish consistent things.
Well, or they made it as if these things were rules,
and then
broke their own
them.
fucking rules.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
dude. Dragons don't exist. I'm sorry to say.
Right.
You know, but they exist in Game of Thrones, and they just are.
Yeah.
And then you believe it, and you're there. You know what I mean?
It'd be like if, like they said, Valyrian steel kills White Walkers, and then someone kills it with a wooden stick, and then they don't address it.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
But I don't know. What would you rate it?
See, that's the thing, though, because I did like it. I feel like
I
don't know how to explain
enough.
it. Like I enjoyed it. Like you said, my eyes weren't bleeding through the credits. Like I like the music. I like the style. I love the 60s. Soho, London in the 60s. What a fuck. It made me think of Austin Powers #1.
Yeah.
Like, what a cool fucking groovy movie, you know? Like, it was cool.
Well, you got to wonder, was Edgar Wright like, I want to make a movie in this setting, but I'll worry about the story later?
Dude, that when Matt Smith, because you know it's a dream, right? So you establish, sorry to go on and on, but you establish it's a dream, so you're like cool with the fact that it's like shit happens in dreams. You just you pop from one spot to the next. He walks out on the dance floor and flicks a cigarette into nothing.
Yeah.
What a cool moment. Like you're fucking Matt Smith just because you are. Like you're just doing, you're James Bond. Like you're whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
And because it's a dream, it's fake. What a cool moment.
Wasted potential.
Yeah. 3.5. Kneecaps.
I'm going 3.
Okay.
But yeah. No,
okay.
I'm going 3. I enjoyed it though. Like you said, like it wasn't I didn't sit there like, when is this movie over?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It was more of like a
will I watch it again? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. And that's sad because I thought when I first started, I was like, because I even texted you. Well, you asked me, have you watched it yet? I said, no, I'll start it right now. And I'm texting, and I texted you maybe like 15, 20 minutes in, and I went, yo, this is sick.
Yeah, and when I texted you, I was in at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it just kind of fell apart. But
yeah, cinematography was brilliant, you know.
God, Matt's got us saying brilliant about 100 times.
It's a good word.
It's a good word. Yeah.
British, brilliant. Brilliantly British.
Yeah.
And this movie's brilliantly British, too.
It is. Not so much brilliant.
Yeah, fucking British.
But that'll do it, guys.
Yep. Well, I mean,
for this review, we're gonna spin the wheel, but that'll do it for our review of Last Night in Soho. I hope you liked it.
Yeah, man. What do you think? What do we got for
I don't know.
for this week? I got to turn on the good old sound effects.
Let me just pull up HBO Max, which is now renamed Max. Boo! I just saw their stock drop 6%.
Oh no!
When they changed the name.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Mergers. You never know.
I feel like, why does it matter if it's called HBO Max?
HBO's a name, dude.
You're right. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. All right.
Well, you know, those like Time Warner. We used to be just Warner Brothers. Is Time Warner.
Right.
You know, mergers and shit.
All right. I'll be the Sam today, and I'll pick a color.
What do you think?
See, there's a lot of shades of red, so I'm going to go one of the shades of red, the lighter shade of red.
The orange one?
Yeah, like knocked up.
See what we got. See what we got. Oh shit! Oh, that would have been so fucking good too if it was Taxi Driver.
Why, you don't like 7?
No, of course I like 7, but Taxi Driver is like one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, no, 7's cool, man. What's in the box?
Yeah, I mean,
this will be fun.
This is one of those movies that like.
Oh,
again, that
dude,
reference.
And Matt loves this movie.
Oh, he does love this movie. Yeah,
he's in Dublin.
Well, it's one of those movies you remember when you saw it the first time.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You remember that reveal and stuff. So
Kevin
Kevin
Spacey,
he's so good in that speech in the car.
And fucking
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, dude,
it's my favorite Fincher movie, I think. So we'll get after it, guys. Next week we'll be watching 7. Watch it. We'll be back next Monday with our review for that one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Let us know what you thought of Last Night in Soho. As always,
are we crazy? Or is it not good?
Yeah, let us know. Maybe we're
great?
wrong. Yeah, give us fight back. But
come on, put them up.
Movie Roulette drops every Monday at 12 p.m. We got Sideline with Matt Sampson on Wednesdays at 12. And then we get the Movie Mob podcast at 6 p.m. on Fridays. Guys, check them out. We do great work here, I think. I
think we do too.
Support it,
Please, we need it. It's hard, man. We put a lot of fucking work into it, and it doesn't take much to click a button.
Yeah, just click it.
Please.
Do it. We'll see you next week. How you doing?